through, and usually we would look at week 11 for some players that are plummeting down our rankings, but instead we are going to be looking at some week 11 running backs and situations changing, as well as a lot of players that just played on Thanksgiving. But before we get into it, as I set up this live stream, please go down there, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And only if you play fantasy football, by the way. Make sure you go down to the comment section to tell me how dumb I am. I will be trying to read as many of those as I possibly can, but a human soul can only take so much, and we are this close to finishing setting this up. So one last thing is, if you want to check out any of these player props, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description of this live stream, in the comment section. When you sign up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. So it's essentially free to check out. And also only for people who use promo code FLOCK. I'm sorry if you already signed up for Underdog years ago and you did not use code FLOCK. That's on you. That's not on me. You are going to get a free Patrick Mahomes bet week 13. It will be just like that Amari Cooper line right there. But instead of Amari Cooper's 62.5 receiving yards, it'll be Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard. So make sure you go and take advantage of that. Sign up now so you can make sure that you lock that in. But should be it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go through. Let's pivot off of these props, and instead let's go over to Dalvin Cook. I mean, a running back that I told everybody to start despite the tough matchup going up against the New England Patriots. Despite Dalvin Cook having a poor week the week prior, I thought that based off of volume and volume alone, Dalvin Cook was still going to get there. Dalvin Cook was still going to be a low-end RB1. I believe we had him ranked around the running back 12 this week. And yeah, Dalvin Cook did absolutely nothing for you. For looking at it, Dalvin Cook, 42 rushing yards. Dalvin Cook, 14 receiving yards in a game where we can't even blame it on primetime Kirk Cousins. I would like to come out here and say, oh, y'all know Kirk Cousins on primetime. He's not getting it done. Nope. He got it done for Justin Jefferson. He got it done for Adam Thielen. He got it done just fine for TJ Hawkinson. So Dalvin Cook, player that I know a lot of people are going to be panicking on. I would say, let's not overreact here, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is back-to-back weeks now where Dalvin's not getting you much, but if we're looking at the underlying volume, I mean, Dalvin Cook is still getting used an extreme amount, 58 out of 68 snaps. If we go back to the game log, you had 22 carries, you had 5 targets. The volume's there. Volume is king. I think this is just a tough little stretch of games. You go up against the Dallas Cowboys and you get boat raced 3-40. And then you follow it up having to play the New England Patriots. Even if you have Kirk Cousins coming out here performing, still not a great spot. But now let's go over to Tony Pollard, a running back that we took the fewer than 67.5 rushing yards on Underdog. Tony Pollard, I just want to reiterate the same stance that we've had for 2 weeks now. The man looks so good every single time he touches the ball. The man is extremely efficient. With Tony Pollard, if they would just give him the 3-down workload, yes, Tony Pollard would be an elite level fantasy option. Yes, if they wanted to, they could make Tony Pollard Alvin Kamara in Dallas. But the thing is, they don't want to. They don't care. The only thing they care about, and probably the only thing they should care about, is winning football games. And if they have Ezekiel Elliott who can go out there and do the job, I mean, I don't want to say as good as Pollard, but in a similar realm, and Ezekiel Elliott's going to sell some jerseys, and Ezekiel Elliott's the guy getting paid the money. Ezekiel Elliott's going to be someone that's not going anywhere. I mean, if we're looking at this, 16 carries for Zeke, 18 carries for Tony Pollard. You have the rushing touchdown going to Ezekiel Elliott. He's had 3 rushing touchdowns over the past 2 weeks. Tony Pollard only 2 targets out of the backfield. And with Zeke versus Pollard, if you look at the routes run column here, you had 12 routes run for Ezekiel Elliott and only 8 routes run for Tony Pollard. So this is telling us that they're going through and, oh my gosh, they are going through and giving Ezekiel Elliott that passing down role still, regardless of if you think it's because he's a better pass catcher. I'm sorry, a better pass blocker. I watched the game yesterday. You watched the game yesterday. Tony Pollard laid some pretty damn good blocks on third down. I wish they would get Pollard more involved, but they're just not. Now, going over to the running back in that same game, Saquon Barkley, another player that everybody was worried about in the Thanksgiving morning live stream. And we said, oh, no, with Saquon Barkley, I understand why you're worried. Horrible matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, but volume. You got to start the man. And with Saquon Barkley, he comes through. 39 rushing yards with Saquon Barkley, 13 receiving yards. Very similar to Dalvin Cook, a horrendous performance here. Now, if we are looking at the underlying volume, you have 11 carries for Saquon Barkley out of 21. I mean, which doesn't sound like too much. They are getting some other running backs involved while Barkley's still on the field. I mean, you just have Dable having to be as creative as possible with no wide receivers at all in this offense. But if we're looking at the underlying fantasy points, I know this is going to be a little bit different than, what we may have seen with Dalvin Cook. It doesn't really matter if Saquon Barkley doesn't look great, because you're getting the rushing touchdown. You're getting the 4 receptions out of the backfield. So at the end of the day, Barkley's giving you 15, 16 points in one of the worst matchups possible. In a game where he has 3 offensive linemen down, I honestly think it's going to be better for Saquon Barkley going forward. Of course, you have to be somewhat concerned, but overall, I think maybe this is a buy low moment on Barkley. But going over, we can look at the entire game log. 224 carries this season. The man has 224 carries. The man has 47 targets out of the backfield. Volume's king. I'm going to be chasing it. And this guy does not have it. DeAndre Swift has absolutely no volume. Just quick update on the DeAndre Swift saga. He is now the running back 2 ahead of Justin Jackson. Congrats to DeAndre Swift, leapfrogging Justin Jackson on the depth chart. That is very exciting, but does it matter? Nope. Still not someone you can go through and start. If we look at since he got injured, 5 carries, 7 carries, 5 carries, 2 carries, 6 carries, 5 carries, 5 carries. Still have to say, do not start DeAndre Swift at all until we see otherwise. We didn't see it this week. But now going over to Aaron Jones, someone going next to DeAndre Swift in drafts this year. With Aaron Jones, I've seen a lot of people in the chat worrying as well. I don't understand too much why. I know this past week, Aaron Jones goes through. He has 12 carries, only 40 rushing yards. He only has 20 receiving yards, but going back to volume, the man gets it. If you're looking at his usage as a pass catcher, he's had 49 targets so far this season. So from a full PPR standpoint, I think that Aaron Jones is still going to be a fine option. Obviously, if you're playing in a non-PPR format, that's where you need to be worried about Aaron Jones, because Aaron Jones is playing the Green Bay Packers offense, which clearly does not have nearly as much touchdown upside as it used to. So if you're playing in a non-PPR league, I agree. You should probably be worried about Aaron Jones. If you're playing in a full PPR format, however, kind of is what it is. Even this past week, him giving you the horrendous performance in a very bad offense where the Green Bay Packers weren't able to effectively move the ball down the field, he still did give you 12 fantasy points, like worst case scenario, so he's going to be okay. But going over to Damien Pierce, we got to bring him up. I'll be very brief with him because we've talked about him nonstop, and I know people are probably tired of us talking about him. You can't be a running back that does not catch the ball in one of the league's worst offenses. You can't do it. This is the floor said he had this past week. He goes through and he gives you a whopping, now let me get my little napkin math out here. I believe 0.8 plus 0.9, 1.7, add the 2 receptions, carry the 1, divide by 2. The man gives you 3.7 points this past week. 3.7 points in a full PPR format. If you don't catch the ball, you're a touchdown or bust. And it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're in the league's worst offense, on the league's worst roster, it's going to be hard for you to be coming away with those touchdowns. Now, I wanted to include Travis Etienne. Etienne is not falling down my rankings, but in the live streams, we've had a lot of questions surrounding the Darrell Henderson signing in Jacksonville. We didn't make a video about this, so I wanted to at least include Travis Etienne on here. With Etienne, do not panic. Maybe the volume comes down just slightly, but if we look at what he's had over the past month, I mean, with Travis Etienne, it's a running back that has been dominant. The Jacksonville Jaguars should be better going forward than what they have been. We've seen the ceiling from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, 17 points, 27 points, 17, 17, 27. Even if the team is not doing well, at least the offense is taking the ball, moving it to the red zone, and giving Travis Etienne some touchdown upside. I don't expect that Darrell Henderson has anything as a passing down running back in this offense whatsoever. It's still the Travis Etienne show. I know Henderson doesn't necessarily help him, but he doesn't hurt him too much. Don't panic. Now, going over to Cordell Patterson, someone that I am very much panicking with. My third most drafted running back in best ball this year. I thought we had smashed the pick. I thought that Cordell Patterson was going to crush it for us. And over the past 2 weeks, you are getting more Tyler Algier than Cordell Patterson. I mean, if we're looking at the stat line, you have a whopping 86 carries so far this season from CPAT. Since he's returned from injury, 13 carries, 5 carries, 10 carries. If we're looking at him as a pass catcher, he's had 11 targets this entire season. If we remove week 1, he's had 6 targets over the past 6 weeks. He's averaging 1 target a game. So I would say, going back to what we were talking about with Damien Pierce, I can't say, oh, Damien Pierce, you can't like the man because he's a running back that doesn't catch the ball in a horrendous offense. Well, Cordell Patterson, even if he can catch the ball, they don't use him that way, knowing that Marcus Mariota isn't throwing it. And we know the Atlanta Falcons are a very bad offense. It's painful, but this is back-to-back weeks now where Tyler Algier sees more snaps than Cordell Patterson as well. I'm really hoping that something changes here. Like, please use CPAT a little bit more. Use Tyler Algier a little less. It just looks like that's not happening right now. So it's frustrating, but it is what it is. Cordell Patterson also falls in line with someone that is not startable for the moment. I don't even know if we had him in our top 30 running back rankings this week. But thank you, of course, for coming out, hanging out with us in this live stream. We are a whopping 4 likes away from hitting 100 likes on the stream. So if you could go down there, drop a like, help us hit 100, I would truly appreciate it. And also, if you want to check out any of these player props, of course, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. When you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. And I'm getting everybody a free Patrick Mahomes bet in week 13, more than less than half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. But thank you so much. I truly do appreciate all of you, all the support. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. I will be live again later today with our wide receivers falling down our rankings. And we'll also be live later tonight answering all questions. Thank you. I hope I see you there, and I hope you had a phenomenal Thanksgiving.